The hour, we will call the Commission on the Arts to order. Afternoon, everyone. All right, we will start with public forum. So if any of you find people want to come up and say a few words, now is your chance. Okay, you're all here to listen to Brian. All right, we will move on to the approval of the August 5th minutes. You all had a chance to look them over. Any corrections or omissions or anything you needed to see or didn't see? Look good? Okay. Well, without anything mentioned, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move to approve. A second.
Motion to approve the minutes passes unanimous. We will now move on to the approval of the revised KHOI. Start with them, the annual grant final report. It was a little lacking when we got it last time, so they did submit a updated form. And I know you said you saw a little.
Just a little typo, like a tweak on the first page. The amount received from CODA, they reported 7,400, and it was actuality was 7,600. It's reflected later in the expense report on the second page. So that's the only thing.
I'm not overly concerned since the budget has the correct number. Should we be worried about that, Brian?
No, I don't think so. We could
Okay.
make a notation on there that it was not correct.
Everything else appears to be filled out. All right. Any other issues with that particular report? And then we also had the Des Moines Metro Opera Guild, their special project final report. Seemed pretty straightforward. Anybody have any issues with those? All right. Well, with no glaring issues with that, I will entertain a motion to approve both the KHOI annual grant final report and the Des Moines Metro Opera Guild spring special project grant. So moved. So moved.
Second?
Second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Again, both KHOI and Des Moines Opera Guild are approved on their revised. Now, while you're all here, Brian, you've got the annual grant at spring special project workshop. So whenever you're good.
Okay, thanks to everyone for being here, and for those of you joining us online. We're just going to briefly cover a couple of the key things to keep in mind as we enter the season for preparing annual and spring special project grant applications for CODA agencies. There will be a hearing where we will have all of the agencies asking for money going in a row and presenting regarding their grant request, and attendance at that meeting is required in order to receive. So the key deadline this year is October 18th, 2024, and it's when the complete applications are due in the city manager's office. We prefer an electronic copy of the fillable PDF document sent to the address that you see on the bottom there. Late applications will not be considered, and we ask that you also please not include alternate materials in the grant application. Only the forms that are in the application need to be provided. Additional forms don't need to be provided, or alternative items don't need to be provided. The annual grant hearings that I mentioned before will be held on November 4th. These are about 5 minutes apiece for each agency to present briefly about what their request is and to answer questions from the commission members who would have read the applications and may ask for some clarifications. You can sign up for time slots tonight. There's a sign-up sheet over on the table by the doorway. If you know what time you would like to present, you can get that locked in now. If you're not present tonight or you're not ready tonight to make that decision, you can sign up for a time slot by calling the city manager's office and asking to speak with Jeremy, or by emailing the coda@cityofames.org email address. The hearings will be held here in the council chambers, and after that meeting, once all of the requests have been described, the commission will receive direction from the city council regarding how much funding is available to allocate to each of the agencies. And then the commission at the first meeting in January will make their recommendations for each of the agency awards. And then those recommendations will be posted and official on January 13th, 2025. That's when the recommendations become known to all the agencies. They're not finalized until they're approved by the city council, and then they're placed into the contracts and sent out to the agencies later that year. The eligibility criteria are listed here. Two key criteria: for-profit organizations and governmental organizations are not eligible, but if you fit into any other category, you are eligible to receive funding through this process. And you must be located in or provide services within Ames, and have specific arts goals as a key component of your organization's mission or bylaws. Additionally, you need to abide by the non-discrimination clauses that are in CODA contracts, and we request that you provide some credit to the Commission on the Arts in the City of Ames by indicating wherever possible on printed materials, websites, or other materials that the activities that you're putting on were supported in part through the Commission on the Arts. On the grant application, you'll be asked to demonstrate a need for the financial support. You'll be asked to demonstrate that you've made efforts to obtain funds in through other venues, for example, through collecting ticket revenue, box office revenue, or other sponsorships. You'll have to certify that the organizers of your activities, the officers of your organization, are fiscally responsible. And you'll need to really answer the key question of who will be served by this programming and how will that occur? That's the fundamental question that the grant application is going to get at. Here's a list of some items that are ineligible for funding. I encourage you to take a look at the grant application and instruction forms more closely to get more detail regarding these kinds of ineligible activities. The grant application contains 5 parts. We'll ask for some information about your organization, description about the specific activities that you're going to do as a part of the application, efforts to promote the events and make sure that the community is aware of them and can participate in them. There are some assurances that you'll abide by our requirements, and then you're asked to provide a project budget or an organization budget and then a balance sheet for the most recently completed fiscal year. Assuming you are awarded a contract, then payment requests to the city should be submitted no later than the first week in July. For 25-26 grants, fiscal year 25-26, that'll be July of 2026. We need all that material in if you intend to get paid for that grant period. Although the sooner the better to make sure that we don't miss anything. And then there's a final report that's due on the last Monday of July following the grant period. So this cycle, it ends up being July 27th. That final report will ask for information about how well your actual experience aligned with what you anticipated at the time that you filled out the grant materials. And that's it for the annual grants. I'll jump quickly into the spring special project grants because those will cover a lot of the same materials, and then we'll open it up if there are questions. So this smaller grant process is for special opportunities and circumstances that couldn't have been foreseen at the time that an agency filled out the annual grant process. So this is not a second chance at funding if a program was denied funding in the annual grant process. This is for something unique and special that has come up that was unanticipated. Unless you're making a proposal that's significantly different than something you proposed in the annual grant. This is the list of the calendar dates that are important to remember. So for the spring 2025 special project grant period, we're talking about activities that occur between January and the end of June in 2025. Today we're having the workshop where we discuss how it works. The applications are due by September 20th, so a little quicker turnaround here. And then at the next CODA meeting, we will have the hearings. Again, the hearings are mandatory. It's not mandatory to attend tonight, but the hearings are mandatory to attend if you're applying for funds through this program, so that you can describe the project. CODA will then make its decisions about what it would like to recommend for funding for each of the applications, and we will provide notification to the agencies by November 4th. The payment requests are due no later than the first week in July. That's a week after the grant period ends. And then final reports are due on July 28th. The criteria for eligibility are the same as for the annual grant process. And the funding criteria are very similar as well. There's a specific metric for the level of funds that CODA is looking to be obtained elsewhere, about 25% or more. And the remainder of the criteria remain pretty much the same. The same list of ineligible activities is applicable to this program as it is to the annual grant program. And the submittals are a little briefer perhaps than the annual grant process. The application needs to be signed by somebody who's authorized to do so on behalf of the organization. Organizations may provide a separate narrative for this application if they desire to do so, if they believe that this will help more fully explain the proposal. They're not required to do that, and it's up to CODA, I suppose, the commissioners to determine whether or not that's actually helpful. But it's not required. So if you only want to fill out just the application materials in this program, you're welcome to do that and submit just that. The applications come to the same place, the city manager's office, in person if you'd like to fill it out and drop it off in person, or you can submit it electronically to coda@cityofames.org. The grant awards are in an amount up to $1,000 for each project. We did not write down how much is left in the balance after the fall special project grants, but I believe it's probably $4,000 or so.
It wasn't quite half. I think it was like 7,000. So yeah, around 4,000.
So there's an opportunity for multiple awards to be made. Let's leave it at that for spring 2025. My contact information is here. Again, coda@cityofames.org is the place to email if you have any questions or concerns. I know that sometimes in the past we've had some issues with the PDF forms. Those are just tricky to get to work on every different kind of computer. I don't know what the solution is, otherwise we would have figured it out yet. But if you do have problems with entering materials, please give us a call, and we'll do our best to walk through with you how to put the information in a format that Coda provides. So I appreciate your patience on that point. And I'm happy to answer any questions there might be. Annual grants only. Typically, the spring special project grants, there's not so many that we have to schedule. They just need to be there. If you have some specific circumstance, and you need to get out of here real quick or something, let us know. See if we can accommodate you. Yep. All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Well, if we don't have any other questions on that, the last thing is a little bit of a refresher here, but upcoming important dates. The spring 25 special grant applications are the annual grant 6-year are again October 18th of 20. Our next meeting, which will be the grant hearings, will be October 7th, 2024. And that is all we have, unless somebody has one final.
Just one note for the commission's benefit. So at the city, we're working on getting some more information from current board and commission members about their how they became interested in serving on a commission, things that would make it easier to continue serving on a commission. We're looking to make sure that our commission opportunities are as inclusive as possible. So you'll be getting in the next couple of weeks an invitation to fill out a survey about those points. There's an opportunity for it to be anonymous if you don't want to share information, but certainly I'd ask that you help us identify ways we can make this even more of a great opportunity than it already is.
Perfect. So check your junk mail, just in case. No, it's always pretty good. All right. So unless there is anything else, see, we are doing really well, and I will call the meeting to close.